Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Impacted, coming to you via the Total Nonstop Impact Network. I am your host Bison, and today I am joined by the TNI-UK team of the Joe-ker and the man simply known as Steve. Hello boys, how you doing?
Hello.
How's it going, Steve? All right?
Yeah, we're all good. Cheers, mate.
Good. And Joe doing his craziness as always.
I'm just adjusting to the new realm.
Into the new realm, the void realm. Is that right?
Yeah.
Realm.
Yeah, the upstairs realm.
The upstairs realm. Are you upstairs today? Are you?
Yeah, you can see the bird in the background.
Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, what a week it's been. I mean, today is only the second time we've taken TNI UK Impacted live, and with it being Mania weekend, we thought, why the devil not? And it looks like we are. Well, to be fair, we're ready to be joined by a few of the TNI UK tribe in the chat. So let's get a few shout outs in there. Who we got? So who have we got? Oh my goodness, we've not got many people in at the moment. So let's have a look. What have we got? Anyone want to say hello?
Come on, give us a shout out. Come on,
give us a shout
pop
out.
in.
Sure in there. I do want to say sorry for the delay, guys.
Yeah,
we had a few technical difficulties there in the background. But we're here now, and that is the main thing. So anyway, let's get this. I suppose let's get going with it. Really, I mean, we might as well just have a sort of maybe do some shout outs in a minute. But I'm sure that we'll get a few people starting to pile in as we go. That's pretty much how it sort of kind of happened last time. So we'll just give a few shout outs as people start to join us. But what I do want to do is just to remind everyone that is here at the moment that what we need to be doing is remembering that obviously we need your comments. So if there's anything in there that you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate to ask. We're going to be running a questions and answers towards the end, at the end of the preview. So get your questions in. The more people that we can, the more people get your question, the more that we can ask. So, we're looking forward to that. So, a couple of shout outs coming in now. So, Critical Skin, nice to see you in.
Hey, good to see you.
We're not suffering too much, buddy. I think we've got Gary in there, Gary Rossetti. I hope I'm saying that right, Gary. I'm terrible with pronunciation sometimes. And we've got Dragon Store in the house, which is great. Nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you. And it's also nice to see we've got a few people either joining us on YouTube and also on Twitch as well, which is great. So, like I said, if you've got any questions for us, don't hesitate to pop them up. We'll have a little questions and answers at the bottom of the show, and then fingers crossed. We'll have some. Oh, hang on, what we got? Do we think the Rich Swan will kick out the one-winged angel? Well, that one's popping up already. So I'll tell you what, we'll leave. I think he will, but we'll leave those questions to the end. We'll have our Q&A at the end, and we'll answer as many as we possibly can. So get them all in there. And we'll see where we go with it. But I'll tell you what we do need to do is I think we've got a couple of news and rumours items that we wanted to talk about. So what I'm going to do is, as always, I am going to hand this one over to the Joe-ker, and we're going to go to Joe-ker's news. So what have we got this week then, Joe?
Right, we have got the oh God, I've got it written down. No, if someone else has got it written down, they're gonna have to carry it. I didn't write this one down, but
Reno Scum, mate. Let's get on with that one.
Yeah, that's the go. We'll start off with Reno Scum because that broke just before this set of taping started. Gutted to see Adam Thornstowe and Lester the Legend go.
Yeah,
but
it's a real shame.
They've parted on mutual terms in good ways. So, and I've already said to him, best of luck, guys, and I hope we see you again down the road. And I've already got a thumbs up back from Adam Thornstowe himself. It's a bit of a bummer, and it's left the tag division very, very light. But saying that, Triple XL are now getting in this recent Impact Wrestling, they're immediately being said that they should be the next contenders by the commentary team. So looks like we got some direction going now after Rebellion for Triple XL.
I mean, what do you think on the Reno Scum situation, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, Reno Scum, I mean, when you look at all the recent releases, Tyre, Ethan Page, The Rascals, to me, Reno Scum hurts the most just because they never got any kind of decent push. They never even had, I can't even remember anything that they had good matches, but they never had anything, any like good run of any storyline or anything.
I think the biggest thing that they were doing was at one point they were sort of kind of being Ace Austin's lackeys. I think at one point, I think that's pretty much the biggest thing that they put them into. Which again, it is a bit disappointing. We know that during the pandemic, they with Adam being a critical worker,
but he himself said that he's never had trouble balancing both jobs.
No, but he did during this period though, which is hence why they, why they were giving them that bit of leeway there. It is a shame. I mean, it is a real shame. Big Reno Scum fans here at TNI, and we're very, very disappointed to see them go. I hope that you never know. I mean, they may come back in the future, even if they just maybe if we end up running some kind of tag team tournament or something like that, they may see him again. It is a real shame.
Me, would I like to see him back? I'd probably, sadly, even though I love him, I'd say no, because they've been here twice and Impact has never used them right. So I don't have trust that if they came back again, they'd use him again.
Well, you're right. What about you, Joe? I mean, what do you think on that?
I would like to see them come back. I think they're a team that will take the rough with the smooth and will do what they told without argument. They just go there, do a job, and carry on. They're like Sammy Callahan. They're like Trey Miguel. They'll take the rough with the smooth. Like I said, they're not going to complain about which way they go or the other. So they're solid, dedicated workers when they were on the roster. It's just a shame that the opportunity slipped through the fingers. But again, the pandemic in general, it didn't help at all because the same thing happened with the Deaners.
That was a difficult time. There was things to do, didn't they?
There was that opportunity for Reno Scum, Medinas, and TJP and Valabar to do something together, but the pandemic had just completely cocked everything up, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Gary in the chat there is saying, he's pretty disappointed that. Obviously, that they're now down the road. Hopefully, we'll see them again. Obviously, Critical Sting is disappointed as well. Not surprised on that one. And we all know that Trent is not happy about that as well, don't we? Hello, Hakeem. Nice to see you, buddy.
How you doing?
And Mir Neeson as well has joined us. So it's great to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. It's interesting though because I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. I think what we were talking about Critical Sting was when they had, when they were sort of kind of stuck in Canada a little bit, and then we were having things like the Diener compound matches and all that kind of stuff. So there was lots of different things that was going on at the time when people weren't able to cross borders. It was just a shame that we couldn't seem to get Reno Scum in on any of that as well. It is a shame, definitely. So what else have we got then, Joe? I noticed that we had a second promo, didn't we, this past week on Impact from a certain for a certain previous Knockouts champion, I believe. Is that right?
Yes. My guesses were correct from the week before. It is time to get wild. Taylor Wilde is confirmed that she is coming back to Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, let's get wild. I mean, we saw it straight away in the first teaser promo. We knew that she was going to come. It's been on the cards now for getting on, pretty much since just before the pandemic hit, because originally I think she was due to appear at the No Place Like Home special that they were going to do.
Yes, she was.
TNA special. So I think it's I think it's a long time coming, and I, for one, big fan. Really pleased to see her back. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I was always a big fan of Taylor, and I mean, you've got to think back. I mean, I think it was the end of 2010. She was last in Impact, or last in TNA, so that's over a decade, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's quite some time. I mean, I was a massive fan of Taylor back in the day. I thought she was just like that little firecracker. She was fast, furious, had some great moves. She also was a really good tag partner as well, wasn't she? Because her and Sarah Stock, they were, I think it was Sarita at the time. They were tag team knockouts tag champs. So
and
there's a lot of good
actually
stuff in there.
that could be an interesting, because I thinking back, I don't think her and Hamada ever lost the titles. They were stripped of them. So that
Her
could
and
be
Hamada.
Yeah, I think they were stripped.
I mean that was you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
They weren't they at the time?
yeah,
But
so she's got a gripe for sort of saying that she never lost the tag titles.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a little comment in there from Bren. Nice to see you, Bren. I'm not sure what your comment is supposed to be there. Something along the lines of that gonna definitely help ratings. Taylor Wilde, come on. Well, at the end of the day, she is a fantastic knockout. She was very, very popular back in the day. A great worker, will she make a difference to the ratings? I don't know, but you've got to give it time, haven't you? You've got to give it time. You never know. You never know.
I'm intrigued to see her new look, because I've never seen her with this sort of punk gimmick.
Yeah, she's going for this more. It's more like a steampunk sort of look, isn't it? So
it's intriguing that we've lost Reno Scum and now we're bringing Taylor Wilde in with a punk gimmick.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, very interesting indeed. So we got what's Gary? I got Gary Rossetti in there saying Taylor Wilde's great addition to the Knockouts division. Again, you're right. Maybe she is a possible opponent for Diana. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, Taylor is a cracking wrestler, and I think there's a lot of love in the chat there for Taylor, so that's great to see. Nice to see Eric Travis there, and we've got a few more people joining us, so that's fantastic. Well done. Nice to see you guys. So I like the promo teasers as well. What do you think of those teaser promos? I think they're really good.
The promos were straight to the point, and they immediately got the hype going. It was so pretty easy to figure out, especially if you were a big follower of Taylor Wilde. But I'd only heard of her from, I've never seen her in the ring before, apart from one of the flashbacks, and when it clicked for me, I was thinking, yes, this is something we need. We need another big name of knockout to come in, especially because Jazz is most likely going to be going.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. We'll get to that in our preview in a bit. So obviously we've got the Taylor Wilde. We've unfortunately got Reno Scum finished. Now, one of the interesting things I think this past week on Impact was Team Impact, I'm going to call them, which obviously was Swan, Edwards, and Mac, beating Team Omega with so Kenny and the Good Brothers. Now, were we expecting that, and where does that take this? Because does this now make it less likely of a Rich Swan win at Rebellion? As they sort of managed to get one over on them here. What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Oh, I'm thinking back to the events of Wednesday as well. This past Wednesday on AEW, we got another hint that we could be getting a revival of the Bullet Club. The Young Bucks got again morphed in by Don Callis to take out John Moxley, and now seeing Rich Swan's team picking up the win this past Impact Wrestling, I was expecting them to get the win. I was expecting Rich Swann to get the pinfall. But I wasn't expecting Carlson to get pinned. I was hoping it would be Kenny Omega who got pinned. So that was a bit of a missed opportunity there to really push the momentum for Rich Swann.
I think no matter what happens, you're not going to be seeing Kenny pinned. I'm pretty sure on that, because at the end of the day, they need to keep him as strong as possible, regardless.
Yeah, it's the double-edged sword scenario. You want to see Rich Swann come in as a strong contender, so at least kick out the one winged angel at least once before the event, which is something J-Bone was saying on Twitch. He could have kicked out before then and still got into the main event with a. He might have an upper hand there, but he still might not have actually beaten him and pinned him in the match. And think it was just there's so much things that could have been done in that match to really build up the hype a lot more. But I still think my original predictions are going to stand where they are with regards to Swan and Omega. And down the line, I'm hoping we see Eddie Edwards and Omega kick off against each other.
Yeah, I think that would be one hell of a match. I think the pair of them, I mean, both with their, like you say, their Japanese background. I think there was more coming up with regards to that. On the recent promos where Eddie Edwards was talking about them having this kind of similar kind of upbringing, but with different companies. They've had a similar path, but with different companies. And I think that's interesting that they brought that up. And again, both of them are 20-year veterans in the business. These guys are fantastic wrestlers. They really are. And I would love to see Eddie Edwards face Kenny Omega. I think that would be one hell of a matchup. What do you think on that one, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I can see the way the match ended, there being a couple of different scenarios. Like either Omega looks at this and sort of thinks, hang on a minute, I need to break out an old move that maybe Swan doesn't know about now, or he thinks, no, hang on, I didn't actually put him in put him through it, and he still goes for it, and then Swan does still kick out of it because he's then got a backup in case he does actually go through it. So there's a couple of ways this can still go through, but commentary did sort of make mention of when they were in Swingers Palace and he put a bet on, and I think that is the call out of maybe Omega does lose it, because they are really kind of going full horse on Omega winning this match.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're putting they're putting the eggs in the basket here with Omega winning the match. Yeah, definitely. I just want to answer Zach's question here. Zach Boniface just asked Grace, says, will Taylor be a heel or a face? Now, do you know what? I think she's going to come in as a face, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if she came in as a heel. I'm going to go, she's going to go with a face. What do you think, boys?
Yeah, I think the same. You get all these legends come back. They usually do come back babyface, and then as time goes on, the character changes. But we've got a very heel-heavy roster as it is, especially with the Knockouts division. So we've got Jordan Grace. So I suppose you could say Rosemary and Alicia Edwards are the main baby faces in the roster, and then we've got Tennille Dashwood, Nevaeh, Deonna Purrazzo, Kimberly. They're all heels. So it's, I forgot to mention Jessica Havoc. So it's about 50-50 or 60-40 heel versus face. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys get the muddled math.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get some Steiner math going on here.
Oh no, you get the muddled math.
I think she'll be a face, but I think she'll be kind of that kind, like sort of tweener face, where she'll be like, I'm like for me and like me only kind of thing.
Yeah, Tennille Dashwood started off like,
yeah, but she'll be a face version of of what Tennille is.
Yeah, well, before she went full blown heel, she was. This is after she come back to Impact Wrestling. She was still really in the face role, but just this arrogant person who started to push everyone away. So I think, like you said, Taylor Wilde is not going to come back full blown heel. But if she's going to start pushing people away, it's going to be under the power of her own ego.
I think we can safely say that she'll be coming back gunning for that title.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, she's a former Knockouts a former Knockouts champion. She is going to go for that title. There's no doubt about that. But there is the other option. She's a former Knockouts tag champion as well. So is she going to go that route as well? I don't know. It's interesting. Very interesting question there, Zach.
And with Havoc and Nevaeh breaking up, the singles picture has suddenly become a bit more open. Yeah.
I think there's certainly going to be a lot for us to digest in the coming weeks. That's for sure. Now, I just want to move on quickly. Now, the other thing was that recently we had a Brian Myers interview, didn't we, Joe? What can you tell us on that?
Yes, Brian Myers recently gave a statement on how his situation with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling has rekindled his love for pro wrestling. The way things are going with Matt Cardona, and that you think, oh, this is not what he wanted and everything. But Brian Myers has said that Impact Wrestling has been one of the best decisions he's made in his entire career. Going to, it's and Moose had said it. Even Matt Cardona said it. They come to a place like Impact Wrestling, and their perspective is blown wide open about what they actually get offered, and it's just made him fall back in love with wrestling again, which is fantastic to hear, because Brian Myers has been one of the most standout guys to come in recently. He wanted you to hate him, and you hated him almost instantly for the right reasons, because he's just so obnoxious, and he's playing this character out perfectly. That to get that interview is and see that reaction, you really do. You forget that he's actually just a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally he is a genuinely nice bloke, isn't he? And I think it's really cool to see how his character's progressed over the last sort of kind of 8 or 9 months or so. It's really sort of kind of started to come into his own. I think with Matt Cardona coming in as well, I think what we're going to see from these guys, because it has been announced now. Obviously, we've got the match at Rebellion with Brian Myers against Matt Cardona. How good is that match going to be? Because these guys are now going to be basically let loose, aren't they? They're going to be able to just go out there and balls to the wall and prove that they are more than just Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think that they've now got that opportunity to really stand out and show what they can do. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do at Rebellion. I think it's going to be one of my. To be fair, it's one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most, and I'm really surprised that I'm saying that, but it's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to seeing at Rebellion. I can't wait to see that one. Now, I just want to, again, there's some really good stuff coming up in the chat at the moment, guys. So interesting that Hakeem has just brought up an interesting thing there. He's saying, with the fact that Rachel Ellering, who was rumored to be at the last set of tapings, maybe Taylor's going to come in and be with Rachel, and they could be a tag team. I mean, that would make an interesting tag team, wouldn't it? To go up against Fire and Flavor. Because if you think about it,
Rachel Ellering, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it in the moment, we haven't really got another female tag team to really go up against them, have we?
No, we don't. We've got no one at the moment.
So that could be the route that they're looking to take.
Oh yeah, Les Redwoods is another option I'd like to see go for the titles as well. I'm pushing the Les Redwoods any way I can at the moment online, because she's starting to reinvent her character a bit more now, becoming a lot more focused in the ring. Looking at her match this week, she might have lost the match to Rosemary, but her ring work in this match was awesome.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see her go for either pull off the huge shocking upset this weekend, or I'd like to see her go for the tag titles with a decent tag partner, someone who's not like Tennille Dashwood.
Interesting. It's interesting you should say, but I mean, who knows where we're going to go with it? But I mean, we've got people suggesting that maybe Alicia and Taylor Wilde get together. I mean, there is so many different possibilities out there. For Taylor, and again Rachel Ellering as well. Interesting stuff.
I don't know if you caught in that video, but she did have a list on that table, didn't she, of specific people she wanted to wrestle?
Yeah, there was. It was like a bucket list of who she wants to.
So it'd be interesting if that is the list she follows.
Would be interesting. In other words, they're sort of almost giving us a giving us a preview of what's to come already. You know, interesting.
And Killer Kelly was on that list, weren't she?
She was, yeah. Killer Kelly was on that list. That's an interesting point as well, Hakeem. I like that. Yeah, bringing in the besties. Yeah, they're a great tag team. Again, somebody's mentioning there it's a bit of a rubbish name. I agree. Actually, the besties is a very juvenile name. But you know, hey, if it works for them, it works for them. You know, and if they're great in the ring, then that's all that matters, isn't it? So that's interesting stuff. Yeah, definitely. I've got a few people agreeing with that as well. Now, I want to move on because we are a little bit conscious of time today because we did actually get to start it a little bit late. So I want to get cracking on the preview for Hardcore Justice, booked by the legendary hardcore man of hardcore himself, Tommy Dreamer. So now we're not sure what order any of these matches are going to go in, but we've got a bit of a match card. We think there's going to be probably maybe another one match in there as well, which could potentially be a tag match, maybe a knockout tag match, possibly. I'm not sure, but we think that there might be another card. We think there's going to be a couple of new surprises in there as well. But let's go with the sort of like the way they've listed them on the Impact website initially. So we've got the very first match they've got listed really is Shira versus Hernandez. Now, and they're going with a Charlie legal match.
Fantastic,
fantastic name for a match. And I think I guess what they're saying is that they could use chairs. I'm assuming. So that should be an interesting match. That's a chair match. You know, what are your thoughts on this one, guys? I mean, who do you think is going to come out on top? Do you think this is going to be an interesting match?
The only weapon that's to use a chair.
Sorry, mate. Say it again. Joe, I missed that. What did you say? Oh, I think we're losing him. I think we're losing
you, Joe.
Connection's gone a bit.
Yeah, we're definitely losing you, mate. We're definitely using you. Anyway, that's the issues you get when you.
Sorry, the connection's gone a bit. Off. Sorry. Yeah, we're on the Shira match.
Yeah, we're on the Shira Hernandez match.
Oh Christ! Hang on a minute. I'll come back in.
Yeah,
right,
come
buddy.
back in.
So,
Yeah.
Steve, what about you then? Let's go to you, buddy. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, the build for this one has been a bit up and down, hasn't it? We've gone back and forth with this one, so it's a bit difficult to call. But I'm gonna just go out of the blue and just say I think Hernandez wins this one.
You do?
Yeah, like I say, it's been up and down, back and forth with this one. I don't really know where they're going with it, so I'm just gonna go out of the blue and say I'll go Hernandez.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go on this one. I'm definitely going to go with Shira.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. Because I mean, they brought him back, and I think they're starting to try and give him a little bit of a push. They're putting him over as a bit of a beast.
yeah,
and I just have this feeling that's the route that they're going to take. I think they're going to go with Shira on this one. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what Joe thinks because I know Joe
the only reason I went with Hernandez was I thought they were going with a similar thing they were going with Myers. Like Hernandez beats him, then they get the connect. You know, then that's why. Then like they keep the Hernandez and Rohit kind of partnership working.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But,
so
yeah, but like I say, I couldn't really pick it, so I just picked one.
it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because both of these guys are not sort of kind of like prominent on the card at the moment on the roster, you know. So I think it's a difficult one because it could really. It's one of those matches. It could go either way.
It could, yeah.
I think you know. So I'm definitely going to go with a Shira on that one. You know, I'm not sure, but I mean, looking at the chat, I mean, most people seem to be going with Shira on this one.
Yeah,
it looks like it. I'm just looking through the chat now, and I think there's quite a few people that are saying Shira is going to go over Hernandez on that one. So or Hernandez.
Yeah, it's a fair point. There's a lot of people saying like who needs the win more.
Exactly. Yeah. Who needs to win more? Because at the end of the day, Hernandez is sort of kind of like. Do you know what? Just talking about Hernandez, have you noticed how much beefier he's got recently?
Yeah, yeah, he's got himself in great shape, hasn't he?
Yeah, hasn't he? I mean, when he first came back, he was looking a little bit. He was obviously in shape, but not quite as toned as you would expect from Hernandez and from past Hernandez. But yeah, no, he's looking in great shape, isn't he, at the moment? I mean, his biceps are ginormous. And I
Yeah.
did notice that he's going back to proper Supermex style as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And speaking of great shape, the flashback that they were showing of James Storm, the flashback of when he was in the Revolution, they showed it Shira as Koya. Shira looks so much better than when he was back then.
Oh yeah, because he's sort of kind of dropped the fat, hasn't he? He's become
Yeah.
more, he's much more defined. I think
Yeah.
he's in great shape, absolutely great shape. Hernandez, yes. People are mentioning in the chat there. I don't know what I'm really struggling with some of the names there. Is it Maya Raju? Let me know. Is it Maya Raju? If it is, give me a thumbs up on that one. He's saying that he was a big fan of LAX. Hernandez was amazing in LAX.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a top man. And you're right there. I mean, remember when the OGs came back against the new the new LAX? That was fantastic, and he was great then. And he's just an all round fantastic performer. And a pure powerhouse. You can almost say that he's one of those guys that started doing some of the things that the big guys didn't normally do back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Hernandez is fantastic.
Like the Supermex, where jumping through, doing the suicide dives and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, you just didn't see big guys doing those kind of moves back in the day. And
he was one of the first big men to do it, weren't he?
Yeah, exactly. He was one of the first. So it's great when we start seeing him go full Supermex. I start to mark out a little bit. I've got to be honest, I really do. Thank you, Maja Raju. I'm just about getting that one right. Can I ask? Are you coming to us? What great nation are you coming? Are you joining us from? I'm very interested. How many sort of UK guys? How many? US guys, Canadian guys. I know that some of the Indian guys listen. We've got quite a nice following in Arabia apparently. So I am interested to know where some of you guys are from. Let us know. Give us your. Let us know where you're hailing from, guys. Yeah, exactly. Is he a Desi Hitman? There you go. So are you actually in India then? God, Joe, you're having a nightmare, aren't you?
Oh yeah, but I'm using my phone now because the connection on my computer is just an absolute nightmare.
Okay, it's not a problem. This the joys of going live, boys. The joys of going live.
Yeah.
This is the joys of the void.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so it's great. The way that he's come on and like I said, I mean the guy is in his sort of mid to late 40s now as well, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
He looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where we go with that. So, Joe, we were talking about the Charlie Legal match. Steve's going with Hernandez for the win. I'm going with Shira. Who are you going to go with for this one, Joe?
I'm going to go for Shira as well. I think he's just going to outsmart Hernandez. That or he's going to come in and hit Shira with something that isn't a chair. Because only chairs seem to be the legal thing in this match. This was what I've heard from Matt Striker on the Impact when it was mentioned. So if Rahit comes in and hits him with something else, or Shira just somehow out dominates Hernandez, I'm going to go with Shira for this one.
Nice. Okay, I'm writing all these down, my boys. So we're going to be finding out who's got the bragging rights on this one. So we've got Steve Hernandez, Bison Shira, Joe Shira as well. Gary, I love Pittsburgh. Fantastic city. I was there probably back in 2012-ish, maybe. I think I visited Pittsburgh. Beautiful city. Really, really nice. Okay, so let's move on to the match 2. Now we've got Brian Myers versus Jake something. Now this is going to be a hardcore blindfold match.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? I'm going to go to Joe first because obviously we didn't get too much of Joe in the last one. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. I think there's like a sort of a nod to Chris Harris and James Storm in this match as well. I think didn't they have some sort of a blindfold match or something? I know I've been reading comments on that on Facebook and Twitter that this is like it seems like a nod to James Storm and Chris Harris and what they've done in the past. So I think Jake something and Matt Cardona is that their match was going absolutely fantastically. So when Brian Myers introduced himself to this match, you knew Tommy Dreamer wasn't going to let it go, unless let it go lightly. And this looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's going to be a different match, something that we've not seen on Impact for a long time. And again, you've got Jake something who is the upcoming beast of a wrestler. Brian Myers, who is, he's an established name, and he's sort of warming up for his match with Matt Cardona at Rebellion. I personally think that we're going to get some kind of interference in this match from Matt. But who knows? What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be intrigued to see how they pull this off because I've yet to be entertained by a blindfold match. But everything Myers touches turns to gold. So, like I say, if they can pull this off and it entertains me, then yeah, it's gonna.
I think it's gonna be an interesting match. I'm not gonna say it's a match of the night contender or anything like that.
No,
I think it's certainly gonna be a fun match to watch. And I'm going to go with a Myers win on this. Sorry, I'm going to go with a Jake something win on this one. But it's going to be because of interference from Matt Cardona. That's what I'm going to go with. But I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I'm going to go Jake something for the win.
I'm going to go with Brian Myers. I don't see Matt Cardona purposely interfering to disrupt the match. The only way I could see Matt Cardona's interference would be if it's like an EC3 Drew Galloway situation where Matt Cardona accidentally gets Jake something disqualified. But then there's no disqualification or any ways to cost him the win, really. So it would be Matt Cardona would have to be blindfolded and whack somebody, or it just doesn't suit the tempo. So I think Brian Myers is going to hit like a massive clothesline like he does. He can hit those roster cuts out of nowhere. Really, really devastating. I think that's what it's called, the roster cut. It's clothesline. It's a devastating finishing move. He can hit that. Yeah, so I think he's gonna pull that off, and it's gonna get the 1, 2, 3 that way.
I actually like we've got something in the chat come up with Slowpoke 33. Interesting.
Oh, it's good to see you, Slowpoke.
He's put. I'll put money down that Swagger will show up and bite something into something. That's an interesting one. Yeah, definitely. So I think I don't know. I honestly think that Jake's going to win. I honestly believe some kind of interference is going in there. So, Steve, what are you going to go with, mate? What are you going to go with?
I'm going to agree with Joe, and I'm going to go with a Myers win. I wonder if this is where we're going to have Myers take the blindfold off and cheat.
Yeah, and there'll be no eye patch underneath.
Yeah,
definitely. Hey, Mark, nice to see you, buddy.
Oh, it's great to see Mark.
Yeah, Mark's there in the chat. I think he's just popped in just to say hello. I know that he's off on holiday or something at the moment. So I think he's just doing a sneaky pop in.
Thank you.
Great to see you, buddy. Great to see you. Okay, so what we're going with on that one then is Steve's going with Brian Myers. I'm going to go with Jake with a bit of an interference somewhere along the line. And you're going to go with Brian Myers, Joe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Now, match 3 on the card that we've got at the moment is advertised as Doc Gallows with Carl Anderson, and obviously versus Black Taurus. I've got to say it right. It's Black Taurus. With Decay. Now, they've not actually made a stipulation on what that match is.
No.
It's just basically that's what they're saying. So I don't know how the with Carl and with Decay thing are going to sort of kind of come in with that one.
I've got an inkling here.
Go on. Come on, Steve. Give us your thoughts.
His Stevie sense is tingling.
I think that we're going to get a Taurus win here, and we're going to get Decay added to the match at Rebellion.
Oh,
interesting.
Very interesting.
Course, I mean, if you guys saw the show last night from the Total Nonstop Impact UK US guys, Ingrid was in the chat and she was saying that because they were like, well, where the hell did that come from? And of course, it was this past week, or this last week, not this one, but the week before, where there was the Decay were mocking the Good Brothers when they were being kicked out of the locker room. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Eddie Edwards just come in, booted them out, and then Decay are provoking them. So I said to you guys this morning, the Good Brothers haven't let that one go. There's still a little bit of a sting in the tail. And they're not going to take that lightly, especially after they lost their match this week as well. So they've got something to prove to Don Callis.
Yeah, definitely. But I just have I don't know. I've got this feeling that Decay are on a real good winning streak at the moment. I think they're getting a good push. So I'm going to go with Black Taurus. Black Taurus for the win. Decay for the win. That's what I say. Decay. Interestingly enough, I was going to wear my Decay t-shirt today, but I decided to go with the Sami Callihan purely and simply because I can't understand why currently Sami is not on this hardcore justice. If there is anyone that's hardcore on the Impact roster, it is Sami Callihan. So I'll be interested to see where he possibly comes in on this pay-per-view, if at all. I really hope he does. Because how can you have a hardcore show without Sami Callihan? It just doesn't make any sense.
You need Sami. He wasn't on the last card either. So the last Impact Plus special.
Yeah, exactly.
We got this thing with trade building now, so there's obviously wiggle room to get them in there somewhere together or somewhere. Sami Callihan appearing down the line on the card at least.
Yeah, definitely. I'm totally on with that one. So let's get the predictions in then. So Steve, where are we going on? Where are we going on this one? Because like I said, I'm going to go with Taurus. Where are you going to go with this one?
Oh yeah, Taurus definitely winning here. NSA. I think they're going to get added to the Rebellion match.
You do? Okay, good.
Maybe not straight away, but maybe down the line.
Yeah, I'm going with Taurus as well on this one. So Joe, where are you going?
I'm going to go against all my gut instinct and wishes and desires. And I'm going to say that I think that Doc Gallows is going to win this match. I think Carl Anderson's going to take out Crazy Steve, and then there's going to be a Magic Killer. There's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and it's just going to fall that way. And unless the match gets reset into a tag match and Decay win that, then
I was thinking, is there a chance it adds to a tag match?
See, now this is the thing. This is the thing for me. This is why I think Taurus is going to win, because I think this is all about setting up a Decay versus the Good Brothers kind of tag thing. That's what I think. I think eventually we're going to get Decay versus the Good Brothers tag match, kind of, whether it be 2 or 3 matches, I don't know, but I think that's where this is going. So that's why I'm going to go with Taurus for the win on this one, because I honestly think that it's going to lead to them then going into some kind of tag feud of some sort.
Yeah, there's got to be a build for Decay outside of just being there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and so Hakeem Fullerton just put in the chat there. What he's saying is that Taurus beats the big LG, then on Impact, Crazy Steve beats Carl, and then the title match is confirmed. A three-way, some sort of three-way thing going on. At Rebellion, so you've got Decay, Finjuice, and the Good Brothers going for the title at Rebellion.
That would be awesome. Oh, licking up the chops.
I'd say Hakeem should be a booker.
Yeah, I think Hakeem and Steve should both be bookers.
Definitely. Should definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely join the booking team. Come on, Scott D'Amore. Get on this lad. He knows his stuff. So Slowpoke? What's that? I just want Taurus to start using the gore. What's that? The gore and the buys a damn demon bull. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you seen Taurus? Okay. Have you seen Taurus's mask? He'd kill someone.
Oh yeah, that is an intense mask, isn't it? I think it's made of rubber though, mate. To be fair.
Oh yeah, I know, but that can you just imagine someone preparing a blood capsule?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, just explode everywhere. Yeah, no, definitely. So I think that this match is a way of setting up a future feud between Decay and the Good Brothers. Okay, so let's move on to match 4. Now, this is an interesting one because it's the 3-way tag match, and of course, everyone's got to find their own tag partner. So, because it's with regards to the X Division champion Ace Austin, you've got the challenger with Josh Alexander, and of course TJP. They're finding tag partners of their choice. Now, this is the interesting thing because did Ace Austin on this past week almost give the big man, Madman Fulton, the night off?
Nearly, yeah.
Is that? I'm sure that's the way he worded it. He almost gave him the night off. Let us know in the chat. Is that exactly how that went down? I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And it's all mystery partners. Well, of course, we found out obviously via social media today, I believe, that TJP is obviously getting back with his Filipino brother Falaba, who we found sleeping in a box at Skyway Studios. So we do know that TJP and Falaba are the first team on this, but is Ace going to have Madman by his side, or is he going to have somebody else? I'm actually going to go with he's got a mystery partner.
Oh, this is a tough one. I think he's going to just bring Madman Fulton in. They work well as a team together to begin with, and Ace Austin, he said he's got a winning combination with Fulton. He's even said it himself. It's inevitable who he's going to have. It's interesting to see where this goes for Josh Alexander though, because he doesn't want to be doing all these tag matches anymore, and this is what's happening with him. And so who Josh Alexander picks is going to be interesting.
Well, could you imagine if Josh actually did pick Josh Matthews as his tag partner?
Oh, yeah, I can see a chair coming towards me if that does happen.
Can you imagine Ace Austin throwing him around? Or even Madman Fulton, if it did end up being that type, Madman Fulton would absolutely throw Josh Matthews around like a rag doll, wouldn't he?
Oh, it'd be funny.
It'd be very, very funny to see that. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think the interesting thing is who is going to join Josh. And Critical Sting is brought something up interesting there in the chat. He said he's talked myself into believing Chris Hero will be Josh Matthews' partner. Now, this is interesting because we know that Rachel Ellering, who is Chris Hero's his real life partner, was at Impact these past Impact tapings. Is Chris Hero joining the Impact roster? What are your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, is Chris Hero possibly Josh Alexander's mystery partner?
That'd be interesting.
I mean, I'm fully expecting to see some new people turn up at this event. Definitely. I think we're going to have some new faces, hence why we sort of kind of got these question marks, because it gives a perfect opportunity to bring someone fresh, someone new into the fray, doesn't it? So, you know, is Chris Hero, is it going to, or, you know, I mean, Hakeem's putting forward maybe Davey Richards could be Josh Alexander's partner. I mean, Davey Richards has been putting it out there recently that he's ready to come back. And
my first thought was, could it be Kurt Angle?
Oh, I wish.
But then I don't know who this is. I believe he's turning up on up north today. Am I right in that or not? I've heard Kurt Angle's turning up on SmackDown.
Don't know.
Anyone else heard that? You know, bearing in mind most of us don't really pay much attention to the E these days, but is it true? It's damn true. Who knows? But I think, you know, somewhere along the lines of a Davey Richards or possibly Chris Hero turning up in this match, I think is probably quite a strong possibility, lads. You know, but again, you know, I just thought it was really weird that they sort of kind of didn't. Ace Austin didn't just confirm Bad Man Fulton there and then.
Maybe it was to make the other two think, hang on a minute, you know, it could
keep them on edge.
Keep them guessing, and then at the last minute, oh, it is, you know.
Who knows?
Who knows? Classic Ace Austin style.
Yeah,
you know, rather than make them prepare for Fulton, keep them guessing to think, well, hang on, who have we got to get ready for?
Yeah, no, definitely. Jeff Samuel is just mentioned that Manson Warner is a free agent at the moment. Again, you know what? I mean, someone like that turning up. I mean, he would make an amazing tag partner for Josh Alexander. There isn't that would be that would be amazing. And let me ask you this, right? Regardless of who the partners are, who do you think is going to come out on top in this match? Now it's non-title, it's just a tag match. So I'm straight away I'm going to say it's not going to be Ace Austin.
I think it's going to be TJP. It's going to come out on top.
Okay.
What about you, Steve? What about you, buddy?
I think we're going to see Josh pin Ace, and then at Rebellion, we're going to see, you know, TJP move away with Falabar into the tag division. Okay.
So go on then, Joe. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with TJP, but I do think Josh Alexander is going to be the next X Division champion. But I think TJP and Falabar are going to get the win here. And well, something's going to happen to TJP before Rebellion or something to throw him off his game. But it's just if Ace Austin's not going to win, I don't see them giving Josh Alexander a huge bump just yet. They're going to keep him as the underdog and the guy who's fighting for his place, rather than giving him the most momentum going in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm going to go with Josh. I honestly think that Josh Alexander is going to win this one, because again, they need to keep Josh strong. If they are going to take him forward, they've got to keep him strong. The only problem is I don't think he's going to beat Ace Austin for it. I think at some point Ace Austin's going to give it up for option C to go for the world title, and then it's going to become vacant, and that's how Josh is going to end up becoming X Division champ. That's my thoughts on it, because I think they need. I think they see Ace as a future of the company, so you know they need to keep him strong. You know, no matter
it's
what.
Inevitable.
That's what I think. But I don't know. What do you guys think on the chat in this one? You know, who are you going to go with? Who do you think is going to win this one? And is there a possibility that, as we're seeing TJP and Falabar coming back together again, are they going to leave this as, you know, a tag team in contention for maybe a tag title? Are we going to see, you know, TJP and Falabar rekindle that tag team special, you know, fire that they had previously?
I hope we do. I really hope we do, because I was really looking forward to seeing them and the Dinas really go at it for the number one contender spot, and then the pandemic happened. You know, because they were two of the strongest teams outside the North.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I to be honest with you, when they were tagging together, I was expecting them to end up at some point, because I remember, Joe, me and you, we had a big conversation about on one of our impacted when they were tagging together, that we thought that they would make amazing tag champs, didn't we?
Yeah,
I think they were meant to win it, and then something got in the way. I'm sure they were meant to win it.
I think they were as well. I mean, I don't really know, kind of like,
I can't remember what it was that got in the way, but I'm sure they were meant to win it.
well, who knows? Maybe it's in their future. But what I will say is TJP Falaba versus Finjuice. That would be a match.
Yeah,
that would be a really, really, really good match. And it's interesting as well. Is it's not been mentioned recently as well, but Fala is still losing weight.
Yeah, he's looking fantastic.
On this past week on Impact, I thought, I actually when he got up off the floor and stuff, I was like, man, he's got to have lost about another stone. He's definitely losing weight, definitely.
definitely.
And, it's interesting to see how they're going to go with it. I mean, can you imagine TJP Falaba going over to New Japan?
Oh, that'll be awesome.
There would be some incredible matches going on with those two. I just think
they're
ever been over there? Sorry?
Has Fala been over there? Obviously, TJP.
Do you know what? I'm not sure, but I know that TJP obviously spends a lot. Has spent a lot of his career.
Yeah, he does.
Many times over there. He loves it in Japan. I think it's interesting to see where it's going to go from here. But I definitely feel
I'd get my ass kicked.
Yeah, I definitely feel that this is heading towards a reuniting of TJP Falaba as a legit tag team. That's what I see. So there you go. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. But I think it's going to be really good. Slow.
Just whoever Reno Scum come. Oh, if Reno Scum go anywhere else, it's going to be to AEW. I think they've got enough now to know that the WWE's its tag division on NXT is packed.
I don't think they'd fit with AEW.
And they will let them, but they wouldn't fit with WWE either. But AEW would be the better place for them to go, or Ring of Honor.
I was going to say, what about Ring of Honor or MLW or places like that?
Yeah, it would be Ring of Honor or AEW for me. I think New Japan's a bit too far for them to go to. But
I'm going to say this, Maharaju, that would make an incredible tag team. You're right. Jake something, Josh Alexander would be great. However, Jake's already on the card, so I can't. I can't imagine him pulling double duty. You never know; he may do, but I don't think it's going to be him. Now, moving on to match 5. Now, this is an interesting one because, I'm not sure where this one's going to go. Actually, I'm actually stumped on this one. I know who I want to win, but my mind saying I'm not sure. So we've got the number one contenders knockouts weapons match. Now I know that Tommy wanted to put this one together because I think probably based on the Monsters Ball match that he saw a couple of years back with Rosemary, Havoc, Su Yung. If I remember, it was Taya Valkyrie in that one as well.
Yes.
It was a hell of a match. That was, oh my God.
That was, yeah.
So I think it's interesting to see where this is going to go, this one. I mean, you've got Jordan Grace in there. You've got Susan. We've got Tennille Dashwood, Havoc, Rosemary, and Alicia Edwards. Now, for me, that's the random one. Alicia in there. For me, it's a bit random.
For me, Susan's the random one after what we saw Thursday or Friday or Thursday.
Well, I think this is potentially because it's like full-on weapons. She's going to get cracked around the head and all sorts of stuff like that. I think this is where we could see Su Yung return. So, like one of those, like she gets cracked on the head, she disappears under the ring, comes out the other side of Su Yung kind of scenario, And again, because all of this is pre-recorded, they could just stop the match and get her all made up, and all of a sudden she turns up again. I mean,
if Susie come back out the top of the ramp, and then Su Young come out from under the ring.
Could you imagine having Susie and Su Young?
That'd be awesome.
It would be incredible. I would be sad to see Susan go. Steve, I'm going to tell you this now, mate. We can see you putting them in your mouth. You don't need to try and hide it.
You're right.
I love it. You enjoy your sweets, bud. You enjoy them. It doesn't matter.
No, it's just so small.
But it's fantastic. So it's going to be interesting to see where this one goes. Like I said, I don't know. I think we're seeing some obviously interesting stuff from Susan, where she's doing the head twitching, and she's clearly starting to remember who she is or who she was, or all that kind of stuff. So and it must be a way of sort of kind of like leading into Su Young return. Again, we know that the Knockouts roster at the moment is looking a little bit thinner than it has done in recent months. So, I think a return of Su Young is probably needed at the moment. So it'd be interesting. I honestly believe that we're going to see the return of Su Young in this match at some point in this match.
I think it's coming.
I think it's time. But that said, I am going to say that Rosemary pins Havoc.
Rosemary is the one I would like to win, because everything that Deonna is like afraid of Sue, having Rosemary then come in the picture is like, that is like, Rosemary is the one I want to win, but I think Jordan is the one that's going to win.
You think?
Because we've had ODB, then we've had Jazz, and I think they're making Deonna into like this Legends killer or Knockouts killer. We've seen Taya, and then she faced Deonna, she's gone. We've had ODB, we've not seen her since she faced Deonna. Jazz, we'll talk about her in a minute. She's facing Deonna, and then Jordan, her career's coming up. She's gonna, if she wins this, I think it's kind of gonna be Jordan.
Yeah. Okay. I'm happy to go with that. I mean, if that's what you want to go with, that's fine, mate. It does make sense. I mean, if you think about the talent that's in there at the moment, I mean, Jordan Grace is the powerhouse of that match. And you would possibly say that she would be, as the most recent former Knockouts champion there, I guess you would say that she was the most likely to potentially come out with the win. I don't know. I'm still not sure with regards to the fact that we know that Jordan Grace's contracts are coming up fairly soon, whether they're going to put their eggs in that basket at the moment. So, but you never know. You never know.
What I will say though is the fact that it's a Rebellion, a big show. That Deonna and Jordan will put on a hell of a match.
Yeah, of course. But I also think that Rosemary would put on a hell of a match with her as well. And, and again, so would Su Young. I mean, could you imagine if Su Young came back and she ended up, winning the match, and we ended up with Jordan. We ended up with Deonna versus Su Young again, and we know that they were just incredible matches. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you just don't know. I'll tell you what, Maju Raju is he's coming up with some crackers at the moment. Maybe an Awesome Kong return. Who knows? That would be interesting.
Is she still in AEW?
I don't believe she is, mate. No, I don't. And
no?
I don't think she was actually signed to a contract as such. I think, again, because as far as I'm aware, there's a lot of the AEW wrestlers aren't actually signed to full-time contracts. They're much pay appearance contracts, which is funny because when Impact do things like that, we get slaughtered for it. But if other companies like AEW do it, it's okay for them to do that. It's not so good for us to do it. But there you go. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not sure on this one.
No. If Rosemary won, I kind of like her to win the title when Decay, when Taurus and Crazy Steve had the tag titles, though, so they all had the titles together.
Yeah, could you? I mean, that would be amazing. You know, that would be like,
So I'd like them to time that well.
So I think we're having problems with Joe. I mean, he's popping it in and out.
He's lost in the void.
You what? Sorry.
He's lost in the void.
He has, yeah. He's lost himself in the void. I think he's got into the chat. So, oh yeah, there he is. There's Joe. The empty space. He's going to go with Rosemary or Alicia in this one. Yeah, definitely. Now, Joe, is that because you're just a massive fan of them, or have you got any thoughts on why you think those two are potentially gonna win? Let us know. Let us know in the chat. So interesting. So I mean, there's lots of people are a little bit unsure, but we've got people saying that Havoc potentially for this one. Lots of people want to see Rosemary. Yeah, no, I mean, there's come back into the undead realm. That's for sure. I think, I'm going to go with Rosemary. Joe, I'm going to put you down for Rosemary, mate. I think that one for you is more likely to be the winner. You've got to pick one. You can't be sticking your eggs in 2 or 3 baskets, mate. You've got to go with one. So, so it'd be interesting. Yeah, Alicia in there. I mean, she had a really good match this past week on Impact. Actually, I thought she had a great showing there. Yeah, she looked fantastic. So who knows? Who knows? I just think it was a bit of an odd one for me. But yeah, you never know. You never know. So then we move on to match 6. Now, this is the title versus career match, and I think this is the only title match on the card.
You feel like this should be the headliner.
Yes. I mean, it should be really because it's a title match, isn't it? But so we got the title versus career, Deanna versus Jazz. I think it's going to be a good match, actually. I mean, you've got the veteran in Jazz who, at the end of the day, has been around like a long time now. Got to be getting on for like 20 years. I remember watching Jazz back in WWF. And I think this past week it was mentioned that that she was the last WWF Women's Champion, and she was the first WWE Diva or Women's Champion or Divas Champion, what it was at the time, which I think is pretty awesome. And I totally was unaware of that. But yeah, I mean, Jazz is a complete legend. I'm going to go with Deanna on this one, and I think this is going to be the last match that we see Jazz in an Impact ring, and she's going to move on and carry on with her tour, her retirement tour elsewhere. But I think this will be the last match that we see her on Impact. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Deanna wins this, and I mean, I did sort of toy with the idea that Jazz maybe hangs around in a different outside the ring role, but yeah, I think Jazz, that's the last we see of her. I mean, it's been 5 months.
It has. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone expected her to be around for that long. But I just cannot see Deanna losing to Jazz, and I think it just adds to the whole kind of Deanna being the whole kind of legend killer thing, beating all the the legends and stuff. And again, that's where I see Taylor Wilde coming into the picture as well, because again, it's beating a former knockout. Potentially you could get a feud going with Taylor Wilde, and you end up with Deanna again beating another former knockouts champion. I think that's where they're going with it all. Interesting. So, Joe, what are you going to go with on this one, buddy? Leave what we got. Diana going to be Legend Killer. Really going to miss Jazz. So Joe's going with Diana as well. So there we go, guys. All three of us are going with Diana Purrazzo on this one.
Oh, this is interesting. From CM Chris, Jazz to win from interference from Su Yung.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Like I say, if Su Yung suddenly comes back in the match previous, in the if we do get Su Yung back, she has still potentially got beef with Diana, hasn't she? So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, that's an interesting shout out there. And it's also been mentioned there in the chat by let me check, who was it? Who's mentioned Jeff Samuel there? You mentioned that what about Kimberly? I mean, is there any news on Kimberly? As far as I'm aware, she has an injury. I don't know where we're at with regards to her injury. Who knows? Maybe Kimberly could just suddenly turn up and turn on Diana, maybe, and help Jazz to win. And I don't know, but I do think that I think they're just building Diana up to be like the next real legend of the knockouts division. That's the way I see it. So I can't see that happening. But again, you can't have Diana just beat everyone that she comes up against. Eventually you've got to lose at some point. Because if you don't, it becomes very boring, and it's like, oh god, another Diana match. She's going to win. Blah blah blah. What's the point?
And there's still a lot of people on the roster she hasn't faced.
There is. I mean, I'm really hoping that we're going to see a really good singles run for Nevaeh. And again, Kimberly as well. I mean, Kimberly is such an amazing worker. Since she's joined the Impact Knockouts roster, I mean, she's just been amazing. And every single match she's been in, she's been so good. So, for me, Kimberly deserves a potential shot. I think she's going to turn on Diana at some point in the future because she's going to be, well, what about me? It'd be interesting to see where that goes. So what we're looking at then is we've got all three of us going for Diana on that one. So interesting stuff. Now, interesting. Now, here's match 7. I'm thinking that this is potentially going to be the show stealer, possibly. Who knows? But I still think that we're a match light.
Yeah.
I mean, this match 7, there's potentially a lot of people in it, so it could go on for quite some time.
I'm saying with the knockout number 1 contender match.
I mean, I still think that there's another match in there. There's got to be another match in there.
Definitely.
I really hope it's got something to do with this man here, Sami Callihan. You cannot have a hardcore show without Sami Callihan. That's just crazy. It just has to happen. I'm sorry.
And we haven't got Eddie Edwards either.
No, exactly.
Although I get the feeling he'll get in on this match.
Yeah, I mean, there is a potential that he could be in Team Dreamer, isn't it? Who knows? I mean, maybe Team Dreamer is Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan, is in there. Now, this is interesting because recently on the socials, we've seen Sami posting positive tweets with regards to things that Eddie's been saying. And we all know that we've got this whole kind of Team Impact thing building as well. So, Eddie's now leading the charge in this. We know that Sami is very much Team Impact. Is he going to be joining Eddie Edwards, for the common goal, the common good? Even if it's just a temporary thing, for all the right reasons. Kind of thing. So it'd be interesting. What do you guys think on the chat? Who is Tommy Dreamer's partner is going to be? We know Violent by Design. We know we've got Rhino. We know we've got Eric Young. We know we've got Dina, and we know we've got Joe Doring, who is an absolute animal. And every time I've seen him in the ring, Jesus Christ, that is one hell of a man. Incredible. So, Who are your thoughts? Who are you thinking? Who's going to be part of this? I don't think it's going to be Chris Sabin and maybe James Storm, but I'm not seeing Chris Harris in this. I think it could be, like I said, Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan for me, and maybe James Storm, maybe James Storm, Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards, or even Trey Miguel gets in on this one as well. Let us know your thoughts in the chat, guys. You let us know. What do you think, Steve? Who do you think his partner is going to be?
I think it could be Storm Sabin, and because they took out Harris, we could have Edwards come in.
Eddie Edwards, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking, yeah?
Yeah, Storm, Sabin, and Edwards. I think that's my guess, because they took out Harris at the end of last week, or the end of this week, and the Callahan and Trey Triple XL could be the match that gets added.
Exactly. This is the thing. Somewhere along the line, Sami has to be a part of this. In my opinion, I just can't believe it hasn't been announced he's on the card. I just absolutely gobsmacked. Now, I'll tell you what I want to do here is it's a hardcore war. Now, I'm just going to run down the rules. So we've got a 2-man start alone for 5 minutes. It's very much like, it's just really a bit like a Rumble match, isn't it? But
it's just missing the cage, isn't it, from Lethal Lockdown?
Yeah, pretty much. So you've got every 2 minutes, a new man enters from alternate teams. The match cannot end until the final man is entered. After all 8 men have entered the match, the match is won by pinfall submission, and there is no DQ. So, again, it's basically falls count anywhere, submissions anywhere, whatever. We're gonna have weapons. We're gonna have everything involved in this. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But who do you think is, which team is it? I mean, it's a team, isn't it? So which team do you think is going to win this one?
I'm going for Violent by Design.
Interesting.
They've been losing a lot for me, and they need to be built back up a little bit for me.
You think? Well, because of we've had a few losses recently, haven't we? Where it's I mean, you can't be sort of kind of like this, everything's the master plan is a full design and then just keep losing every week. I mean, there needs to be something in there where they're winning. I kind of get that. And you know what? See, I'm with you on this one. I think BBD is going to win as well. What do you think, Joe? Let us know in the chat, bud. Let us know in the chat. What are all your thoughts, guys? Who do you think is going to win this one? I'd be very interested to know. That's interesting. A return for Al Snow. I like it. Bully Ray would be good. I'm not too sure on Sabu. But yeah, there's quite a few questions and quite a few interesting comments in the chat there. So did I just see that Joe is going to go with... Let me have a quick look. Did he just go... Joe, where have you gone? Who are you going with, buddy? I think I've missed it. Did I see it? Did he put something up? Team Dreamer. Yes, I thought I saw that. So Joe is going to go with Team Dreamer. Well, that's good because obviously, we're not all picking the same thing, so that's all good. Okay. So, I mean, that pretty much brings us to the end of the pay-per-view, really. Sorry, it's not a pay-per-view, for the Impact Plus special. It's interesting to see, where all this is going to go. I think it's some interesting stuff. I really, really hope, like I said, we get Sami and Eddie. You can't have, like I say, you can't have a hardcore show without those two guys. when it comes to Impact Wrestling, they really are the top boys when it comes to the hardcore side of Impact. So it's really good to see. Okay, just a couple of, we haven't got much time, guys. So just a couple of questions. Who wants to fire a question at me and Steve about anything whatsoever? It could be about Hardcore Justice. It could be, I don't know. It could be anything you want to talk about. Any of the new stuff you've heard. Throw something at us. Come on. What you got for us, boys? What you got for us?
An open book.
I know you want to ask some questions. Come on. Come on. Give us some questions. What about you, Joe? You got any questions for us? Yeah, there's another one. We haven't seen. We've got Johnny Swinger. Maybe we need a Johnny Swinger match.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question from Slowpoke. How long until Swinger's Palace goes bankrupt? Well, I think Rebellion. When he has
Rebellion.
To
Rebellion.
yeah, when he has to pay out there. There were some big bets going on. So Impact now. Here, what we got there from Gary Rossetti.
Impact need to bring in Marty the Moth.
Somehow
only seen him once on an Impact Plus event, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know too much about him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know him then, Steve?
I think it was back when they were doing the one night onlys, and he appeared on one of them. But he looked impressive on that show. But other than that, I've not really seen much of him.
Oh, no. Okay. Here we go. Here's an interesting question here from Hakeem. He's put, would you like to see Big Mike Elgin return to Impact Wrestling? I can give you one answer on that one, and that is yes. I would love to see Big Mike Elgin turn up on Impact Wrestling. I was absolutely gutted when he sort of kind of like suddenly disappeared through whatever reason, accusations, etc., which he's since proved, or he's since taken to court, all sorts of bits and bobs, and it seems that he's been proven to be innocent. So I would love to see Mike back. I mean, he was one of those sort of guys. He came to Impact, he promoted Impact, he was like, I'm there to win the world title. That's why I'm there. I want to be world champion. And he was making it relevant. His best of 5 matches with Eddie Edwards were just epic. I was lucky enough to be at the New York tapings. Actually, I've got a poster there. Look at the New York tapings I was at last November, where I got to see Mike Elgin in action with Eddie Edwards. And I have to say, it was one of the best matches I've ever seen. Incredible. What do you think on that one, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I understand why Impact let him go, because obviously it's bad publicity, and they don't, they can't really, they don't really want to be associated with it. So I understand it from their side. But he's been cleared of it all, so I would welcome him back, and everything he did while he was in the company, he made the company feel like you wanted to watch it again. And like you said, the best of 5 matches he had with Eddie Edwards, I don't think I ever saw him in a bad match. We talk about how good Eddie Edwards is. Michael Elgin was exactly the same. And even his promos, he bigged up every match. It was it was fantastic. And you watch everything after Slammiversary, and I watched Eric Young, and it kind of gave me the feeling that Elgin was meant to win the title, because the character EY was playing kind of felt similar to Elgin.
Yeah, you're right.
So it gives me the feeling that Elgin was meant to win that title at Slammiversary.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was that potential there. A question from Gary Rossetti. Do you guys see Jake Chris return since they mentioned OE last night's show? I would love to see Jake return. Jake is actually one of my favorite wrestlers that's been on Impact recently. Go and check out. I've done a couple of interviews with him. Go and check that out on the Total Nonstop Impact Network channel. He's a great guy. But do I see him coming back as like the OVE thing? No. But I think if he did come back, it would be as a completely new Jake, if that makes sense. A new character. I think it'd be really good to see Jake back. He's a top man. So yes, I would love to see that. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'd love to see him back, but I don't think you can base a return based on just one word.
Yeah.
No,
I think based on a mention, but it's interesting that we've had no real mentions of OVE at all for like a long time, and then all of a sudden it was brought up last night. It did seem a bit random, and normally when they do stuff like that, it's planting that seed in your brain, isn't it? It's planting the seed. But who knows? you know, I'd love to see Jake, but I don't think he'll come back as part of OVE.
No,
If
I
he
think
did,
maybe give it time, like a little while, when people have kind of forgotten what you know, what he did last time, when he can get refreshed and rejuvenated, and then people kind of he comes back as something completely new, and people think, okay, who's this guy?
I
And
mean,
then
for me, I mean, when he was X Division champion and he was the Golden Draw, that was
yeah,
that was when he was at his best in Impact.
it was, yeah.
Not OVE. It was when he was X Division champion and he was wearing the
Mhm.
white and the gold trim.
Or even when even when OVE first debuted and they were having their matches with LAX.
Yeah. Oh well, exactly. I mean, Slowpoke is mentioned in there. What about you know, if Sammy sort of reignites OVE with Trey and then you insert Jake into the mix? So
I think he's
it's kind
trying,
of,
yeah. I think he's
but
trying to do that.
maybe, but I don't think it'd be OVE. I think if he's gonna create a new faction, it would be something completely different. It'll probably have something to do with ICU as opposed to OVE kind of thing. But no, interesting stuff, guys, and yeah, some really good questions there. But you know, I mean, it is an interesting idea, and you know, Sammy, Trey, and Jake would be a pretty badass faction. Yeah, I mean, they'd be deadly. Incredible team. And I love the way that they're using Sammy to bring out this sort of kind of, you know, more aggressive side of Trey Miguel, changing his character from the sort of fun-loving Trey Rascal Miguel. They're now bringing him into this more serious guy. But it's interesting. Randy Sam has just said, do you guys see MLW invade Impact at Rebellion? No, not at all. I don't see that at all. But nice to see you, Randy. Thanks for joining us. What about you, Steve? What do you think on that one?
No, I don't really see, you know, what that would accomplish. Yeah, I don't see MLW kind of joining the party.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're anything to do with that at all. But yeah, Hammerstone is great as well. You're right. He had a good showing when I think he did a couple of matches on Explosion when they were still doing that. So, but yeah, no, it's interesting. No, you're right, Gary. We don't want to see Dave back. But yeah, Jake, you know, again, I think Jake was a victim of circumstance as opposed to the fact that obviously he was the brother of Dave, who was the one that had the allegations. And of course, he was also in a storyline at the time with Joey Ryan. So, you know, it didn't turn great on that one, did it? But, you know, who knows where it's going to go? Who knows? So, anyway, I think that's pretty much it. I think we can bring that to a close now. I think we've had a really good chat tonight. You know, we've put some great stuff forward with regards to Hardcore Justice, which is on the Impact Plus app tomorrow. I believe there's a new time. We can get that one put up. I think is it 3 p.m. Central?
3 p.m. Eastern Central, yeah.
Yeah, in the US, and that makes it, I think, 7 or 8 p.m. over here.
8 p.m. over here.
Okay, 8 p.m. over here. So, guys, make sure that you tune into Hardcore Justice, Impact Plus special. Fantastic. It's going to be a hell of a show, as you can tell by the way we've been talking about it tonight. So make sure you tune into that. Don't forget to sub the channel. Give that little bell a tickle to never miss any of the great content from TNI US and TNI UK. Where, you know, where can we find you, Steve?
You can find me over on the Twitter at simplysteve311.
No worries. And if you're looking for me, you can find me on Twitter at Lord Bison 45. It's on the screen there below if you miss it. And the same, hang on that way, and the same there for Steve. And don't forget to look up the Joe-ker as well. I'm just trying to think, is it Joe Empty Space? If you put it in the chat, Joe, that would be great. I think it's Joe Empty Space something or other. But anyway, check that one out. I know that if you put in Joe-ker or Empty Space or anything like that, you'll soon find him. But anyway, so this has been Impacted Live. We hope you've enjoyed being a part of the show with the TNI UK team as much as we've enjoyed interacting with you all tonight. with all that said, I've been Bison. We did have Joe-ker, and that is it no that way? That is Simply Steve, and this was Impacted. Take care, everyone.
Bye.